Привет из Дубая. С вами передача «Голубь мира», где обсуждаем крутые навыки. Спрашиваем на английском, отвечаем на русском. Подтягивайте язык или смотрите перевод в тайм-кодах. Let's talk about comprehension and let's start with the definition.
Comprehension, this is осмысление, and I often use such a metaphor as a pilot. When you are trying to take off for the very first time, you will think of these gears, of these buttons, and you will be very attentive. But when you're making it in 1,000 times, you will make it an autopilot, so you will not look at it. The same with driving the car. You will go through the crossroads with traffic lights, with people who are trying to cross your line, and it will be quite easy for you. You could also speak with someone with phone and even say some dirty words to people who will disturb you while you're driving. The same with our life. To be honest, let's check if every day when you come at home, you remember what you have seen during your comeback, and you will find that sometimes you couldn't remember nothing. Yes, you was driving a car, maybe you was going by steps, maybe you will use an elevator, maybe you will even greet some people, but everything goes without our attention, and it is very dangerous. So we could fall, for example, in a hole on the road. We could slide on the ice. We could not to see the very important person, and it will impact in our life.
And I probably would second to that because today I'm actually using a different city name and somehow it actually removes my autopilot mode. So I have to actually take the manual control over that. My next question would be about like how the comprehension might be different from the awareness when we're aware of what is going on and the resume when we're actually trying to summarize. So what is the fine line between three of this?
To be honest, this is not a fine line. This is a very thick line. Awareness, this is to understand what has happened. Okay, now it's rain. How often you go to the street and suddenly you will find you in the middle of the rain, but who was кто мешал?
Bothered.
Who bothered you to look at the window. This is about awareness, but comprehension, this is not to notice something what was changed or some situation which occur in your life. Comprehension, this is about construction of your life. A lot of people not live, they just wait. They wait until they go to pension, until they were promoted. Maybe they will have a salary. You know, when you are a soldier in the army, there is a saying, soldier could sleep, but the service is going on. And you could do anything you want or don't want, and you will short the term. But in real life, a lot of people who has the same life have has a different results. And comprehension is to look for a ways. You could go as all people goes, and you will find just dirty plates, or maybe you will go in some to some summits or deep forest, and you will find some mushrooms and berries which was very rare in all other areas.
And what are the principles that make comprehensive to be effective in applicable in the real life?
You know, this is very funny, but the very first rule is to be инопланетянин,
Alien.
to be alien on the earth. You should always think what I am doing, why I wear these socks, why I am eating this apple, why I am not supposed to say, for example, some good words to stewardess, but I to stewards, but I give even tips for waiters. And if you will think as an alien, you will find very strange things, but everyone is used to it, and there is just one way, not awareness, but comprehension. Second, when you're using your life, you spend your time, you could just judge other people, what they do good or bad, or you could отказаться, refuse to judge the people, and you judge just you. If you was worth the situation, if you are going to be promoted, if you have enough knowledge to sit on this meeting, what should you learn? What should you understand? To whom you could speak to make yourself more useful to other people?
Maybe I also would try to rephrase it in the way I understood it. It's actually you trying to make the status quo your enemy, so that you always like a priori you try to fight with it in order to make sure like whether it's correct or not. So when it comes to the levels of comprehension that the one can possess, what are they and how to achieve the next one and the next one?
When we talk about awareness, there is a levels, but not there are no levels in comprehension. Comprehension, this is total бдительность.
Mm, probably could be awareness, but maybe there is another word for that.
Okay, you should be not predictable. You should always see, is there any danger, potential danger. You could see risks anywhere. You could understand what people are forced to do, what you want to do. Is there enough resources or lack of them? If you could step aside and to not take part in something. A lot of people are going to meetings because they want to be important, but to be honest, when you sit on the meetings, your brain work not such hard when you make a solid job. So it is much better to refuse to go to the meetings. Maybe for some period of the life, even you could be not a manager but deputy manager. But when you are manager, you talk too much. You are very important in your vision, but much more useful peoples who do something with works with hands. And if you want to be just a manager, this is not a comprehension. This is lack of interest. This is lack of luck.
There might be cases when people might be understanding things wrongly or maybe using their conscious in order to interpret certain factors and actually have a wrong opinion or maybe not even getting to the comprehension level. So what are the mistakes people make on this way while they might not be very comprehensive about what is going on?
First is to accept status quo. So I think that this is wrong, but I will do nothing about this. Second is to play in some political games in the company. And this is a way not to be professional and not to be expert, but to be polite politician. Which is wrong. And third, this is to divide themselves for several persons. For example, you kind to the bosses and you are severe for subordinates. And in this case, when this two person should be in the same place, you have boss and you have subordinate, you will be tier aparts.
And when it actually comes to realizing maybe some sort of like a hard things or maybe having certain biases, whether it's like cultural, regional, or something that it was embedded in your from the childhood. So what is the way to actually get rid of it? Or maybe there is another way. Some people might be trying to avoid the pain or reality, so they would come up with a good reason when they're trying to comprehend something of it. And I do remember that once you said that when you're trying to resume, be as cynical as possible. Basically, be agnostic and look at it as the more like a fact rather than your emotions. So, what is the way to actually get rid of all of the biases and stuff, and maybe deal with the pain or with the bad consequences of the realizing something when you're trying to be comprehensive?
You have already answered your question, as always. Yes, it is just one way to be very cynic and to be ignorant, maybe in some part of your life. When you, for example, got an driver lessons, do not tell other people how hard it was. It's just a small point in your life belt. When you was promoted, do not talk as you was worth it. Maybe you was not the best candidate, and all people know about this. Maybe this is your last position, and you will be сбитый летчик,
Fallen pilot, hit pilot.
killed pilot in several months. So you should remember this is saying which was written on the ring of Solomon King. Everything pass. Good will pass. Bad will pass. And do not take everything seriously.
And when we're talking about the modern world, there is such a new word that appeared. It's called the brain fog. Basically, let's say when someone was playing a computer game or they were mindlessly scrolling some stuff. So they were saying that after this, they actually feel like they don't understand what is going on. It could last like up for starting from a couple of minutes to maybe like a couple of days. Basically, you in the state of the sleep. So how is the future will look like in terms of the comprehension and the like how we will deal with it, given that like at certain point of time we might be living in sort of like a matrix, or maybe there might be this blue screens that suck our conscious in so that we can't really control ourselves and think of the things in a very clear way.
In such a cases, when I was asked like you just told me before, I often say people such a comparison. You could be a cow or an eagle. Cow stay on the same ground, eat green, and never thinking that he just or she just gives the milk and after even their flesh to the people. But eagle, it goes very high and he decides in which direction to fly and what kind of food to attack. Cows, they show newspapers and news which are given by propaganda and the state. But eagles are trying to feel by their wings the warm air which is going fast forward and support them to stay high, to stay calm, to stay very stable.
Last question will be how knowing about comprehension could help to make this world a better place.
When you are ready to agree with all status quo in your life, you couldn't change nothing. You live in the flat which you like, you buy food in the store you like, you live with people you like. But if you would think, maybe there are some people who are buying much better food, live in some better flat, and they fly for vacation on islands you never dreamed to be. And we have just one life. And when we will die, nothing will happen to the planet, to other people. Comprehension is understanding that you are a manager of your life and steering wheel is your head if you take it. And you could drive a Lamborghini or to sit in the rear seat of a school bus.
Расправьте крылья и осмысленно парите на высоте. А мы рассмотрели навык осмысления и чем он полезен именно вам. Всем мира!